Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina Solba. I'm the HPCC Highland Park Community Council Vice President, and I am the meeting leader while Stephanie is our vice president, or our president is on sabbatical in Italy. And I'll kick off tonight's meeting. It is Thursday, October 19th, 2023. We have PWSA here this evening to speak to us about some renovation to the pump house. And that's our main event, but we're going to kick things off with some updates of recent and near future events for the neighborhood. I'll start by just mentioning that we recently sent out the physical newsletter, the print newsletter from the Highland Park Community Council, which was a very large lift by members of the board and some other our editor Nancy and some other folks. And everybody who lives in Highland Park should have received one in your mailbox. We do have some extras that will be handing out at upcoming events. If you didn't get one, you can also send me a little message in here so I can check on that. But everybody who lives in the neighborhood should have gotten one, whether or not you're a member. And that print newsletter is something we do every year, just as a way to highlight and connect with the neighborhood. Let's start we did a recent event last weekend, the pumpkin patch. And Kathleen, could you give us an update on how that went?
Sure. It was great. We had pumpkins and partnered with the garden club and did Diane brought painting supplies so the kids could paint pumpkins. And we just set up a little bench with bales of hay and pumpkins so people could take their photo and pick out a pumpkin. People donated. The event was free. The pumpkins were free. The painting was all free. People did donate. And we had a last minute donation recently after the event, and we broke even for the event, which is great. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Oh, and we had available at a table like stickers for members. People could join and gain their membership. Sabrina, you had dropped off a few of the newsletters. The extra newsletters I put at Taza, which they might be gone already since it's been a few days, but they were at Taza if anyone might have seen them. Yeah, we had about 125 pumpkins, we think, thanks to Bob for counting. And all of the pumpkins were taken. So very
at the photo booth, Kathleen.
Photo booth. You mean at the bench?
Oh, Judy, you're muted.
At the pumpkin patch, there was a photo op there.
Oh yeah, with the bench and the bales of hay and stuff. Yeah, it was cute. We had some really cute photos. Family brought their twin. I think they were twins dressed up as pumpkins. It's cute.
All right. And it's not the last of our Halloween season celebrations. Elisa from the Children's Committee is here to talk about the Halloween parade.
Yeah, we're going to have our annual Halloween parade at the Reservoir again. It's going to be on October 28th, which is a Saturday from 10:30 to noon. And we'll be doing crafts and maybe a little fun scavenger hunt and some touch and feel eyeballs and some other icky stuff. So please encourage all the kiddos to come dressed up, and we'll do some fun activities. And then Bob will lead us in our annual walk around the fountain and show off all of our costumes.
Awesome. Fantastic. And then closing out, I think our last big community event. Well, actually, before that, let's talk about the vintage food drive. And I think that Eben, I think I saw you. Are you doing the announcement for that?
No, I am. I'm sorry.
Oh, you are?
Okay. Okay. So I am going to give you all the information that Laura, who is heading up the vintage food drive this year, sent me. She has her last class at Pitt tonight in her graduate program in social work, and she sends her apologies, but here we go. This is our 4th year collecting food to donate to the Vintage Senior Service Center for their annual Thanksgiving celebration and distribution. Our goal is to collect Thanksgiving fixins, not turkey, everything but the turkey, to be shared with 135 participants at the center. We're asking for donations of the following items only: cranberry sauce, stuffing mix, cornbread mix, turkey gravy, canned yams, and disposable and or reusable bags to package everything. Donations can be in complete sets, or you can donate multiples of a single item. We will pack the bags before, distributing to Vintage. We will also accept Giant Eagle gift cards and do any extra shopping on Sunday, November 12th. Here's a change, another change, not just of name. Please drop off donations on our porch, Laura's porch, at 1128 Winterton Street between November 1st and November 11th, so that we can deliver to Vintage on Tuesday, November 14th. Turkeys are provided by the Allegheny County Department of Human Services Area Agency on Aging. So all 135 of these recipients of our fixins will receive a free turkey as well. This will all be posted on the Highland Park website, blog, and listserv next week. If you have any questions, please email them to Laura or to us, and we will be happy to assist you. Thank you. It's a great event, and a lot of people are happy and have a happy Thanksgiving because of our collaboration. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great event. And before I let you go, Judy, would you also talk about SOS?
Sure. SOS, the senior online assistance, well, not assist, senior online services program, is about to enter the end of its grant, which is December 31st. The good news, however, is we have had a very significant increase in the number of referrals that we've been helping with. We're doing pop-ups at Tazadoro. Thank you to Bill and Amy for partnering with us. It's very successful in recruiting some older adults in Highland Park who need assistance. So please give us a call. We have funds left to help you, and we're thinking of some more creative ways to assist Highland Park older adults. So stay tuned, and thank you all. And the techs, I have to tell you this all. The techs who are in the program absolutely love what they are doing, and they love working with the older adults and helping them. And we have received nothing but positive feedback from the older adults who've been assisted. So if you need some help, give us a call, because we're willing, able, and ready to help you. Thanks, Sabrina.
And can you remind everyone how to get in touch with SOS in case they are someone they know is interested?
Well, yes, I can. You can go on our website, and we have a QR if you're able and willing to try the QR. We have, you can reach us by email at sos.hpcc, and we will schedule an appointment. Please, or stop by on Thursdays at Tazadoro and meet a tech in person and schedule an assistance or receive help from them on site if it's something portable like a phone or a laptop. Thanks.
Thanks. And thanks again for all your work in leading that program. And making that possible. There is one more event that's coming up. Light up nights. Is that also you, Judy? Just a brief preview, because we will have one more community meeting before then.
Yeah, that's me too. Yes, we're getting ready to gear up for light up night. You should, neighbors should be, and members and neighbors should be anticipating information on the website, the blog, and on the listserv about how to how to tell us that you're going to be participating by decorating and where you are, and we will be mapping electronically for you a map so that you can proceed through the neighborhood and enjoy all the festivities. We also will be in touch with several of the merchants on Bryant Street who in the past have participated by offering hot chocolates and hot coffee and hot beverages at the event. The parklet will be lit up, and that's Kathleen's end of it, but we will be sending out this information very shortly because it's coming on us. December 4th isn't that far away. So think Thanksgiving, well, think Halloween, think Thanksgiving, and then think light up night. Okay?
Yep. I think it's December 2nd this year, but the first Saturday in December.
Yeah.
Our neighborhood light up night. So yes, the end of the year is fast approaching. All right. And I think that takes us through.
Actually,
Yeah, go
can
ahead.
I make
Catherine.
one more announcement? Sorry.
Yeah.
I should have told you to put this on the agenda, but I completely forgot, so that's on me. We are doing a Highland Park calendar, and we're collecting photos through December 2nd is our tentative timeline. I think we're gonna take as many as we can and then sort through them. And I'm still kind of working out the details of when when the printing will be done. I don't know if it'll make it before Christmas or not. I'm trying to get there, but anyway, if you have a photo of Highland Park that's really high quality that you think is really great, any month of the year, we're going to do a calendar, and just stay tuned for more details. There's a post on the Highland Park website. You can send it to the photos to our editor, Nancy. I believe it's like hpcceditor@gmail.com or whatnot. I'll look it up and put it in the chat, but send over any photos you have. Thanks for letting me.
I sent one this morning.
Great. So Nancy has a shared folder that I'm looking through, so it's great.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
All right. I think that wraps up neighborhood happenings from the HPCC perspective. Do we have a Zone 5 rep in the room?
Sorry. Also, I don't know that Mary Beth I don't know if Mary Beth is on or not. Oh yeah, Mary Beth. I didn't know if you wanted to say something about the business roundtable.
I really
November.
can't respond to it right now because it's not happening till November 1st now. So
Okay. All right.
as I get more information, I'll share it.
Great.
Yeah, I think there was a brief post that went up about that for November 1st, but there'll probably be more info sent out to the list. I don't think we have a Zone 5 rep present. So we will transition to PWSA. PWSA is here to present on the Brucken Pump Station project. And at least Maura, I don't know if there's anyone else in your team who's here, but Maura is here from PWSA, and they're going to present, and then there'll be time to ask questions and give feedback and chat about it.
Yes, I have a few people here, both from PWSA and from the design project team. I'll introduce them momentarily. Let me just pull up my presentation here. Okay, Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Maura McLaughlin. Some of you may have spoken to me before, certainly seen me at these meetings. I feel like I'm here a lot. We're here for something slightly different today, something that you might not be as aware of. You've seen a lot of construction on water infrastructure in your neighborhood. This one is a little more out of sight, out of mind, but we'll explain to you why we're here to present to you tonight. This is the Brecken Pump Station Improvement Project. I'm going to just briefly introduce the people on the team. This is part of the water reliability plan, this project. So some of the stuff you've been seeing on Mellon Terrace and in the park is related to this work as well. We're going to talk a little bit about the Art Commission requirements, which is primarily why we're here. And we're going to show you some of the design plans for this new pump station, talk about the project schedule, discuss our outreach plan as we get closer to construction, and answer any questions you may have. So before I get started, I just want to introduce some of the other people on the call with me. We have our Director of Engineering and Construction, Barry King, on the call, who's going to take over some of these slides after I introduce some of the info. We also have Sarah Bolenbaugh, who is our Water Program Manager at PWSA. From our design engineering team, we have Heather Dodson, who's from Brown and Caldwell. We also have David Bornman. We have Sonia Svila from PWSA, who's on the project team. And we have Matt Conti, who is also helping design this project. He's from Evolve. So with that being said, I want to first introduce the water reliability plan. You've seen some of this work happening already. One of the projects that we completed is the Highland Reservoir Liner and Cover project. The reservoir that sits behind the fence line near One Wild Place was refurbished last year. That was part of this work. We're also working on the transmission mains that are on Mellon Terrace, Bunker Hill Street, and that go up into the park. That's part of the Highland Park Pump Station renewal project. We'll certainly be back again in a few months to talk about phase 2 of that work, which is actually replacing the pump station on Mellon Terrace. But today we want to talk about the Brecken Pump Station, which is one of the projects in this suite. All of this work is a once-in-a-generation effort, many millions of dollars to improve some of the more crucial portions of our system, things like pumping, storage, reservoirs, and some of the stuff at our treatment plant as well. All this will add redundancy to our water system and water security. And all of this work is being done in very careful sequence. So we're then prepared to do some really important work at our clear well, which is at the water treatment plant. You can see in this graphic, we're kind of in that yellow section right now. And we're going to be working on the clear well, which is actually across the Allegheny River, right by our water treatment plant, which I'm sure you've seen if you shop over there in Aspinwall. So this is a multi-million-dollar effort, and some of it is required through a consent order with the state. So this should play. I believe it should start to animate here, and it'll just kind of briefly show you the phasing. We did work at the Highland 1 Reservoir and Landford Reservoir, which is over in the north side. I mentioned the Highland Park Pump Station work. We're also going to be upgrading some of these pump stations in green. The Highland Reservoir one is very close to you. The one we're talking about, Brecken, is down at the intersection of Washington Boulevard and Butler Street. And then we can begin to work on that clear well once all of this upgrade in the system is done, and then we'll have a lot of renewed infrastructure by the end. Like I said, all of this work is done in very careful sequencing to allow us to work on our clear well. This is a really cool old photo inside the clear well. I'll show you some profile drawings on this next slide so you get a sense of what you're looking at here. But these people are standing in what's a dry, empty, gigantic water tank, essentially. So this is the clear well. It is a facility that aids us in the last step of the water treatment process at the water treatment plant. It's essentially a giant chlorination station where we mix the treated water with chlorine for a period of time to ensure that any pathogens or bacteria are killed before it can go out in the system and be truly drinking water at that point. You can see it's like a buttressed, gigantic tank. You'll get the profile there. And this is a singular part of our system. So it's very difficult to take it offline and do repair work without a lot of preparation ahead of time. So that's what we're working towards here. And this Brecon pump station is a piece of that. So like I said, some of this work is going to be at the treatment plant, but a lot of it is to do with the pumping, storage, and distribution systems, a lot of which is in Highland Park. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Barry King, who's going to speak more specifically about the Brecon pump station and why we're here in Highland Park presenting this information to you. And you can see just before I hand it over to him, here's some of the photos. The Brecon pump station does sit behind a fence line, so you might not necessarily know what it looks like. The Aspinwall pump station's over at the treatment plant, and you can see some historic photos there of some other pieces of our system. But in the bottom left hand is the one we're focusing on today. Barry?
All right. Thank you, Maura. Good evening. I want to start with introducing you to the current Art Commission requirements and why they apply to our pump station project. The Pittsburgh Department of City Planning's website summarizes the role of the Public Art and Civic Design Commission as empowering the development of civic structures that have a positive impact on the city's realm. For that purpose, the commission is authorized to review and approve the aesthetics and design environment on or over city-owned property. So, considering that the Brecon Pump Station is a public facility situated on Pittsburgh city land, it is qualified for the PACD's commission's Public Art Review Committee to review before construction. As for why we're presenting the plan to you tonight, it is because the driveway leading to PWSA's pump station is directly off of Washington Boulevard that falls within the Highland Park community. Please note that the feedback from this meeting is intended to be incorporated and will be incorporated into the submission to the PACD Commission. Next slide. I will review the Brecon pump station design. Shown here is the existing Brecon pump station at the time of its construction back around 1931. The next slide shows the existing Brecon pump station, which is located on Lockway East, where the pump station itself technically is located outside the Highland Park community in the Lincoln-Leamington community. As I noted prior, the driveway leading to the station falls within the Highland Park community, located directly off Washington Boulevard at the intersection with Allegheny River Boulevard. The next slide is an architectural rendering of our new pump station. To be constructed between the existing Brecon pump station shown here to the right or the east of the new pump station and the existing administration building that is showing to the left or the west of the new pump station. I wanted to point out that the architect took special consideration in the design of this facade, not typical of an industrial water pump station, where the windows were specifically incorporated into this new facility to overlook the Allegheny River to provide the cross river communities with a more aesthetic pleasing than a typical pump station. The next slide, our design is for the construction of a new pump station and the associated structures that are in the footprint of the existing garage on site, which will be demolished as part of this project. The new building will house new pumping equipment. The scope of the new pump station will include 6 new pumps with a total combined capacity of approximately 85 million gallons per day, which will pump directly into the Highland 1 and 2 super systems. The existing pump station, which is now more than 92 years old, will remain in place and will be used for other PWSA operations at a later date. In addition, the project scope includes replacement of our perimeter fencing and reorganizing the materials that operations stores within the property. The next slide, with respect to the construction impacts related to our project, the only clear indication you will see will be the trucks and equipment that will be entering the Brilliant Yard via the Butler Street, SR8, and the Washington Boulevard entrance. Otherwise, all work will be contained within the Brilliant Yard site and largely out of view of the public. As the project schedule, construction activities are planned to occur within the window of Monday through Friday between 7 and 5 p.m. As for the anticipated project schedule, please note that we are currently at the 100% design submittal phase, with PWSA's design team currently reviewing our 100% contract documents. We are also at the point of accomplishing our permitting with the state and other regulatory agencies, and that is moving forward towards completion as well. As for the construction schedule anticipated for the pump station, the contract award is anticipated in the fall of 2024. Our construction notice to proceed to the contractor, the start of construction, is anticipated to begin in early 2025. And the anticipated completion of construction of this facility is slated for around mid 2028. Or did you want me to cover the preliminary, or did you want to do this one?
Yeah, I can address this quickly. So as we approach that start of construction, which is still a little ways off, we'll continue to keep you updated. We'll certainly make sure that we coordinate with some of the properties that sit in the immediate vicinity of this work, people that are very close to the project. There are some docks and other boat facilities down there that we'll certainly have to loop in at the time. But we'll continue to provide the Highland Park community updates, as well as Lincoln, Leamington, Belmar, which the actual facility sits on. So we'll certainly be back with community meetings, and we'll be putting some project signs in the area to make sure as people pass back there that they'll see what's going on. All of this information is available on our landing page, which is pgh20.com/water reliability plan, where you can see updates on this and the other suite of projects that I described earlier in the slides. And that's it. So thank you so much. We'll answer any questions. Frankly, I think that the elephant in the room is that this is a little out of sight, out of mind for residents in Highland Park. But we want to make sure that we're adhering to all the city requirements and keeping you updated, because while this isn't directly in your line of sight, it is happening in your community. So we want to make sure you know. As always, you can get a hold of me at my email there, mmclaughlin@pgh20.com. And with that, I'm going to close out of here so I can see everyone, and we'll answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you, Maura and team. Anyone have any questions about the pump house?
And I will also say, and Barry obviously described this very well, while you might not see the construction, this does have benefits to the Highland Park community in terms of water service and reliability, and frankly, the rest of our system that's served by the reservoirs and things that are in Highland Park. So this is really a locus point for a lot of our infrastructure. So we appreciate everyone's patience and understanding as we do this work, not just this, but a lot of the construction that's going on.
The only thing I wanted to ask is will there be any impact on Washington Boulevard in terms of traffic changes? It looked like the pump station that's a little bit further down that driveway, so I wasn't sure if there would be any planned impact on traffic.
Well, as Barry mentioned, there will be coming and going. I guess maybe for the design team who's working on with more detail on the type of pieces of equipment and things that are coming in, materials, do you think there will be any like really large loads that we'll have to do any type of traffic adjustments for, or do you think it'll be pretty standard in and out of that intersection?
There will be some larger traffic, but I don't think there would be anything that would be beyond standard. I think that it's just you'll see an increase in traffic as they're coming in and as they're exiting at the end of the day, but no traffic changes are anticipated, at least.
Howard?
Yeah, could you just restate when you anticipate construction to start and finish?
Sure. I don't want to misquote. I'm just pulling it back up here. So we're anticipating construction will start in early 2025.
Still a ways off.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's off topic, but do you have a sense of I was just going to ask about the Mellon Terrace status. Is that and the rising main, is that wrapping up? Or is that still, where is that project in its timeline?
Yeah, all of the and you know, if Barry and Sarah have any additional updates, I can give a general one. The pipe construction is complete in the visible areas. I believe we're still working on some pipe construction back in the woods behind the existing pump station. But in terms of restoration, they're certainly doing some paving out there, as you've seen. And I think some restoration work will still have to take hold in the spring. Especially in the park there, since that's been dug up and we're approaching winter. But I will say that we're probably going to be reaching out to you again in the more immediate term, kind of phase 2 of that work, which is the pump station itself, will be going online for construction in 2024, early 2024. So I certainly want to come back and give a brief presentation. A lot of that work is going to be happening behind the existing pump station, so further back in the woods and out of public right-of-way. But you'll certainly see some activity there as well. So that is moving along.
And when do you think the road will reopen?
So I don't want to quote you an exact date. Is it okay if I look back in my emails and just confirm that?
Well, I think it's good to know that the restoration in the park area will not take place till the spring, because do you think there'll be like a rough cover on the pipe and the fencing come down, or that will stay like that through the winter?
So I'm just
they have to cover the pipe with 4-foot of covers, so they'll have to cover it. The last part that is required is the tie-in of the main at Bunker Hill. That should happen next week. It's a pretty large tie-in, which requires a lot of valves in the system to be closed, and so it was going to happen this week, but we had to push it off to next week. After that, we will have disinfection of the line, which will be flushing water into a catch basin during that time. And then that's it.
I know this is not the project you came to talk about, but just maybe a minor request related to that, which is when it reaches the stage when it's kind of done, but then the restoration in the park, like you just said, won't start till next spring, given the weather, and then given potential improvements to the replacing the staircase and all of that. Maybe just like a message that could be posted to the community, so that, because I'm sure people are going to ask, why does this look like this, and when will this get fixed? And so if there's something that we could put up on the website that just says, hey, the grass won't be back.
Yes.
Yeah, we're planning on having that project complete by December 31st.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I should clarify, when I say the restoration won't take, it will look kind of like dirt over the winter, certainly,
Right.
but in the spring, you'll start to see things grow back there.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, which is like, hey, and then there's the staircase and the path, and that gets into the parks and other stuff.
I have a kind of a low-tech aesthetic question. Highland number 1, there's weeds growing out of the sloping sides all over the reservoir. I just wonder why someone can't come around and pluck them. They're like 3 and 4 feet high, some of them. I don't know if anybody's noticed that walking around the reservoir. It looks pretty crummy.
Sarah, Barry,
Right along the walkway?
Yeah, rolling walkway.
Is that something that we could
So
speak to
that was-
operations about?
I was just going to say, exactly. We can take that back to operations to make that request known to them. And I'm guessing that's something that can be incorporated, but we will confirm with them.
Okay.
We'll talk to them about getting a crew.
out.
So there's a question from Dick Jennings. And I'll read it, but I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure I understand it. I'll read it verbatim. What were the primary reasons internally and related to the consent order that the overall project was initiated? Just aging, reliability issues?
It's a good question.
Yes, both.
It's definitely
Go ahead.
both. You can
So,
go, sorry.
yeah, so basically, the clear well, there's no way to bypass the clear well. The clear well was built in 1907. So if there were to be a failure of the clear well, it would be lights out for Pittsburgh. There would be no water. So obviously we need to be able to bypass and take the clear well out of service. So PWSA researched different ways to replace the clear well, really for the last, I think, 20 years at least. And where we fell with the solution was to come up with a solution that also provides the opportunity to rehabilitate our existing infrastructure that absolutely needed to be rehabilitated as well. So the Aspinwall pump station and the Brucken pump station, both of those pump stations have not been rehabbed since the 50s or 60s. The rising mains that we were, we're just finishing rising main 4. We already finished rising main 3. Those had been, installed in the early 1900s up to the 1950s, rehabbed maybe in the 60s. So that those were aging. And then the new pump station is to provide reliability to the system that's served by the Highland 1 reservoir, because there's really no backup for that system. And it's the highest portion of Pittsburgh, basically. So that pump station provides a backup, basically to the Brucken pump station. So it basically was aging and reliability. Pittsburgh always had a really good, the system was built and designed with a lot of reliability. Over the years, those options failed, and since we had so many other ways to move water around, they were kind of ignored, and then we kind of got down to our last option. So now we're rebuilding and rehabilitating that reliability that was originally built into the system.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dick, did you want to add something?
Any more questions about the pump house in particular?
Hi, it's Jody Choder. I have a question for you. I'm a little confused why the Art Commission gets involved in the discussion. Are they looking at the design of the new Brecken pump house? Or what's the art involvement?
You want me to take that, Maura?
I would love you to, because I don't know if I have an answer for
Okay.
that, frankly.
So it used to be, it was specifically the Pittsburgh Art, the Public Art Commission, and under the new mayor, it's been rebranded as the Public Art and Civic Design Commission. And so there is, while these projects would tend to go before the Art Commission, when we fell within the public sphere, like a prime example would have been the new orthophosphate dosing facilities in Highland Park, the ones we call Ortho 1 and 2, that are directly across from and up from the membrane filtration plant on Reservoir Drive. That if it weren't within the public sphere, it didn't fall to them. But now they've kind of separated the arts as one review commission and the civic design as an alternate. So we're falling under that civic design primarily for the city's commission for the review.
That makes
And
sense.
Yeah, it's any project that is falling on or within city-owned property will go through this process. So that's why we're specifically there as well.
Also, we're down here on Lockway West, so we're very interested in what's going on with the pump house development. So, we're interested in how it's going to affect access to our property. I'm assuming that you're going to need to access your construction project through the city property and not just simply over the railroad crossing there on Lockway West or East rather. So yeah, we're very interested.
Yeah, Jody, I remember you were here when we were last here speaking about this project, so we'll certainly be in direct contact with you.
Thanks, Maura.
As we get closer.
Okay, since like there's no other questions about pump house, I just have one follow-up from the Rising Main. There was mention that there's going to be a big connection, and there's a comment in the, but I'll finish my comment first. They mentioned there's gonna be a big connection done next week. Is that will the water be turned off, or will there be an impact on water access to the neighborhood when that happens?
No. Sorry, the connection I was talking about that will happen next week. No, actually that's why we are pushing it off. It is a big connection, so it's taking, we have up around, gosh, probably 10 to 15 valves that we have to close. So we've been going through test shuts and we check, basically what we do is while we're doing that, we're checking system pressures to make sure that we can safely do shut. So that's kind of what's been taking so long, is that we just want to make extra sure that not only is pressure not lost, but also that the safety of the construction workers that are making that connection. But the pipes that we're actually cutting into serve areas further south than Highland. It's just they're the larger transmission mains.
So their water will be impacted, but not for this neighborhood. Is that what you're saying?
No, it should. What we're doing is making sure through closing valves and rerouting water that nobody will be affected by it.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, when you say closing valves, I think no water, but rerouting.
Yeah, no, so yeah,
Gotcha.
so the whole system is basically gridded. So you close that out and you make sure that the water can get to where it's supposed to be. Of course, since a lot of the system was built in the early 1900s, there's always surprises, and that's why we do a couple of these test shuts before we actually do it.
Great. Good to know. Before I was chatting with Maura, I don't know, Maura, can you just repeat briefly? I know folks in the neighborhood may have seen the water coming down Highland over this weekend. So if you can just repeat what that was and its status.
Sure, there was just a little hiccup in the field. The crews had nicked a line while they were exposing a trench. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. So they were pretty much immediately aware of that. And you did probably see a leak on Sunday, but that has since been fixed and there shouldn't be any further issue.
Okay, great. Judy, did you want to make a comment? I see your comment, and I don't know if I'm following your chat text in the meeting chat.
Sorry, I would like to share this just because we've been here for 28 years, owned our house. About 10 years into living here, my dog and I were walking up Jackson Street up to the top of it. And there was a big hole in Jackson Street, and there was a huge, when I say huge, a huge round circular object in the middle of the street. And I asked one of the crew people what it was, and I will never forget this. He said to me, "Ma'am, this is a water pipe," and it was wood. So when we talk about old and infrastructure, that was like an awakening to me. It was enormous, and it was there, and that was what, less than 20 years ago, but it was still there. So I get it.
That's pretty incredible. I don't know if I've ever seen a wooden pipe. Okay, well,
Okay.
if there are no other questions, thank you all so much for your time. I was glad we were able to answer a few other unrelated questions and just get in front of you guys and give you an update and chat. So appreciate it. And if anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out. I'll just put my email in the chat.
I have one question. I'm sorry, I had another Zoom. You probably talked about it. When will the reservoir bridge be opened and that paving around the reservoir be done? I don't know if that's for you or for someone else.
Paving, or are you talking about the uncovered reservoir?
No, I was talking about the
I'm
bridge
talking about
on Highland.
the
on
one up in
reservoir.
Highland Park where there's a new bridge. It's a tunnel, and so the bridge is done, but they're redoing surfacing the road. Just wondered when all of that work is going to be done up there, at least around the Reservoir Drive. And they're also like digging up along the sides of the bricks and doing some, I guess, adding some things to make the drainage more appropriate.
The last we heard from the city was that they're still a few weeks out from finishing up that project. And
Okay.
they are supposed to let us know when it's going to be opening so that we can, so that they'll be broadcasting and we can help broadcast the reopening of that. They
Yeah,
also are
because
doing, go ahead.
I'm directly affected because I live on North St. Clair. So we have not to that, but to them cutting off Tower Hill. So, and all that traffic coming down there with the buses. I'm just really concerned about safety as far as like walking around with my dogs and those kinds of things, and pollution, additional traffic coming through. So is there any consideration of possibly putting a sign down by the zoo and say local traffic only coming up that hill and going down the hill? So in other words, instead of having the traffic come up Highland and still feed through to the little side streets, can we say local traffic so that they can go a different direction to get down to the bridge, or coming from the bridge up to the East Liberty area? Is there a way to put signage that way?
Oh, now I'm not certain I'm thinking of the right bridge. I was thinking of the one in the park. Are you talking about?
Oh yeah, I've moved on. I moved
Oh,
on.
okay,
And
okay.
I'm talking
Just
about
making sure.
I'm talking about how the top
Well, that
of
was
the Bunker Hill.
That was my question about the Mellon Terrace reopening. So, right, because that's I think what's affecting the traffic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't want to speak for the city in terms of signage, but my sense is that they're probably just hustling to get the project done at this point.
Deborah, can you send an email to our HPCC email address? Just let's chat about it and see if because we are talking to the city, maybe we can get if there's a sign or two that would make sense.
Okay.
We see if we can pass that feedback on.
I sure will. Thank you. And thank you for letting me speak. I'm sorry I had a support group meeting at the same time.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no worries. That's what we're here for. Yeah, I think it is going to be a while before that road's cleared based on what PWSA just said. So if we can do something to make life easier for the residents impacted, I'm sure the city would be open to it, especially if it's something like a sign. We'll see what we can do. I think that wraps up this evening. Real quick, in case someone's wondering, trick-or-treating, October 31st, 5 to 7 p.m. in the city of Pittsburgh. And I think that's it. Anyone else have anything else they want to share before we adjourn? All right, well, Howard, we beat 8 p.m.
Excellent. Woo!
Thank you, PWSA. Thank you, Maura and team, for presenting. Thanks, everyone. Have a great end of your week. And a happy Halloween.